Hello again guys, it's Crit on the Spell and Sword channel, and today I'm gonna do another type of video, not focus on reviews, but this video is called State of Play, and here I will discuss the different campaigns, different games that we are playing at the moment, where we are with them, and what they're about. So the first one is gonna be about HarnMaster, where we are involved in a 6-year-long campaign called the Vikings of Rogna. This campaign has started around the concept of a piracy campaign where the Vikings of Rogna have started out on the small island of Rogna in the Ilvingard region. For those who are not familiar with Harn, here I will show you the map of Harn and its relation to Rogna on the screen, and you can see that Harn is a larger island off the coast of the Lithian continent, and Rogna is a small set of islands off the coast of Ivinia, a more northern neighbor of Harn. So those who are familiar with Harn, you know that it's a campaign and game setting with close to 40 years of history, and basically the most detailed location ever created. I think very well could be compared with RuneQuest and Glorantha in this sense, where I think Harn has gone into more detail as they are, let's say, more into setting and location detail, as Glorantha, as well detailed as it is, gives you more of overall possibilities and a lot of details about the myths and different religions and cults. The Vikings of Rogna started off on the island of Rogna, set out to the larger world with the idea of having a Viking adventure where the players could sail on their ships to Harn and other more southern locations, and so they have done for the past 6 years and have ventured from Harn, where they made their initial fortunes, to Hebekeria, here seen on the map, which is a southern larger island off the coast of Lithia and off the coast of Anzeloria, which is the African analog in the world of Gethera, where Harn is located. They have also sailed to Anzeloria not only once but twice, first to trade and engage in a spot of mercenary work for the Anzelorian states, and later on they were forced to return as the result of a divine pact that they made in order to survive a tricky situation. Then, having completed these trips, they have been living off the island of Chelenby, here, which you can see on the map, and that is a prospering trading state located between two major powers, one the growing power of Harbal, and south is the older, more established feudal state of Shorkine. So, just to give you an idea of the background of this campaign, which has been running now for 6 years, the players are currently involved in another major venture where they will be sailing east on a northern route, again due to a pact with divine forces, so the god Sarayin, who is the protector and the war god of the Ivinian Viking cultures. The players have been making deals with Sarayin's envoys, the Elkri, who are these Valkyrie type characters, as the name already suggests, who act as intermediaries between Sarayin and the mortals. So they started off their trip by going to the Holy Kingdom of Elderskal. You can see it here on the map. and there they participated in two major religious festivals, as one of the characters is a priest of Sarayen, and of course does have a natural focus on any religious events. They went there for the first time and went to a place called Mount Ilvingard, which they tackled in our last session. So what basically happened on Mount Ilvingard is that there is a 3-day festival where there is 1 day of 1 day and night of feasting. Then there is a 2nd day of ritual combat and a 3rd day of prayer and recovery. And things did not go quite as they had planned, as the fighting is more intense than they expected. There is actually a fatality rate of over 35% between the participants, and this gave the players also some hairy situations, and they sustained a number of wounds before leaving the battlefield. During these ritual battles, it's not uncommon to see some supernatural visions or events taking place and one of the players was actually transported to Talagard, the Sarayinian heaven, in equivalent of Valhalla in the Norse myths. Fortunately, his stay there proved short-lived, but he did get to meet his former captain, who had taken the characters on their first adventures from Rogna to Harn and beyond. So this was kind of a possibility for him to see the captain for the last time and to reconnect and then lead off into his own adventures. Then that was the previous session, and now in the last session they rested, recovered, healed from the wounds, and started planning their trip east, where they are going to an eastern city, having been tasked with the mission of spreading the faith of Sarayin there. The Sarayinians are not really a missionary religion in the sense as some other religions in the Harn setting, but their religion has been slowly spreading in certain northeastern areas of the Lithian continent. And the players have been pretty unsure of what they are actually expected to achieve in the city of Azenteras, which lies in a location where basically 3 cultures are meeting. So that you have the Alts, who are a kind of analog of Finno-Ugric peoples. Then you have the Mongolians, who could be then seen as an analog of some northern Russian, Siberian peoples, and then you have the Rexini, who are kind of analog of Tatars or Mongols in this era. So in the city they will of course encounter all of these peoples, but they will witness a conflict not only between the Rexini, who are trying to expand their burgeoning state, but also a conflict between different religions, as the faith of Sarayin is competing with another war god named Agric, and you have also the Rexini faith of Reka and Sina, who are the Rexini traditional deities. In order to reach the city of Azenteras, they have to sail through northern waters from Ivinia through Altor, and in the last session they left the second festival on Mount Ilvingard, which was 7 days of reciting Eddas and praying and feasting. They picked up a new companion who appears to be a semi-divine son of Sarayin, the Greyslayer, the god of the northern Vikings, and set off towards Altor, the neighboring larger geographical area. They joined another Viking ship hailing from a smaller island who decided to accompany them on the return from this religious festival, and they managed to reach the island during a severe storm which nearly crippled their ship, and for the first time in some months of playing, they might have had an inclination that what bad sea weather can actually do to their ship. On the small island, they met the local Orusen clan and heard about strange events in the clan hold, where the son, or newly discovered son of the clan head, had arrived from Altor, having been born there to an Altish woman during a Viking trading trip, had returned to the island and now mysteriously disappeared in a fire. So the players have started investigating what caused this fire and why they are seeing small demonic beings in this remote location. So this all ties into a larger plot during this trip, as they will realize that demonic beings not related to this demonic war god Agric, but basically riding on his coattails, have been taking over the local Agricans and are trying to establish a different type of influence on these northern areas. That is one of the plots as they go into the area of Altor, and others will emerge later on. Then we have had another group of players, basically with one player from this HarnMaster campaign and two younger ones who have been playing Conan. And for the younger players, Conan actually has been their first real role-playing game experience. They started off with Conan as one barbarian, one mercenary, and one sorcerer. So we have a Cimmerian barbarian classic, then there is an Aquilonan mercenary and a Stygian sorcerer. And with this group we have been kind of getting to know role-playing for the first time for these younger players, and then going through some of the Modiphius adventures, which are available in different books, and then some of my creations, mainly a campaign to defeat Kosatal Kel and traveling through different locations in the Hyborian Age. So currently they finished an adventure in Nordheim, so the lands of Asgard and Vanaheim, which was not a complete success, as there was some let's say some weariness after a long campaign, and then not complete engagement with this latest adventure. They have expressed a wish to go to the Western Sea and to explore what is there beyond the Western Sea, as you can see here on the map of the Hyborian Age. So I'm currently working on a campaign which will take them with an explorer and his ship here from Zingara to the Western Sea and beyond. So I will discuss this adventure and campaign creation more in a subsequent video, where I will start going through ideas of how to create a campaign for Conan and how to actually construct the adventures with the hope of coming up with 6 or 7 connected adventures with the theme of sailing to the west. So those are basically the 2 games that have been going on, the game of HarnMaster and Conan. And then as the 3rd one, the latest one, we have a game of Degenesis, where the group playing Conan have been taking a break and have gone into Degenesis, created new characters, with one being a chronicler, one being a Helvetic, and the last one being a Spy Italian. And there we have started with the published adventures, started off with Embargo from the core book, then went off into In Thy Blood, and currently we are doing the Killing Game. Between In Thy Blood and the Killing Game, we did one adventure where basically I wanted to connect these 2 adventures and establish Toulon as a location. So they went off to Toulon and from there did an expedition into the Rhone swamps to discover a lost bunker, where they also discovered a sleeper who had slowly gone insane after waking up from the cryosleep and was living alone in a bunker in the middle of Rhone swamps, trying to survive in an area of ferromancer activity. So that established the location of Toulon for the players. They managed to survive the expedition to the rune fields with a group of scrappers. They encountered the sleeper dwelling in the bunker, defeated him, and managed to get off with some amount of supplies, a curious artifact, and then returned to Toulon to start the Killing Game. They now have done 2 sessions into the Killing Game. In the first session, they witnessed the explosions which rocked Toulon and actually started driving around on a com with a machine gun attached and started looking into what is happening in Toulon. So the group had split in the beginning, with the chronicler being more involved in witnessing what is happening, and then with the other players, the Helvetic and the Spy Italian, running after him on the com and trying to rescue him before it got too deadly. So they have now basically completed the first day, with the first session ending with them saving the group of Spy Italians from the Iron Brothers, who are the scrappers who have been taking over Toulon from the Neo-Libyan rulers. And then at the end of the first session, they majestically managed to destroy a approaching speedboat with one shot, and the speedboat then flipped over and did not manage to intervene between them and the escaping Spy Italians. Now in the second session, they have successfully made contact with the Resistance, who are a group of Frankans trying to save Southern Frank from the Ferromancers, the Psychonauts, who have taken over large parts of Franca, and they were involved in a counterattack against the Iron Brothers throughout the city of Toulon. In this counterattack, again, some sharpshooting saved them from an oncoming armored car. They made contact with Hamza, the ruler of Toulon, and assisted him in escaping towards the boat operated by his cousin Orma. During the course of the adventure, they have also managed to gain a radio and have first time realized that having a radio and being in radio contact with each other would be a good idea for the future. They are now tracking the source of these radio blocking emissions, which the chroniclers and their allies have established in the city, and are also trying to save Hamza, the Neo-Libyan, and his allies, who are ruling Toulon from the Iron Brothers. So the second session ended in a situation where the boat coming to save Hamza had run aground in Toulon, on the Toulon harbor. They have managed to get on board the larger ship, and the next session is going to start with them jumping on a tugboat and then trying to disentangle the ship from the harbor and trying to get away. Of course, as the adventure has been written, they will not get away as easily, so the ship will come loose, but their actual tugboat is going to explode, ending with them in the water and swimming back to Toulon and trying to figure out what to do next. So Degenesis, the adventure, has been Degenesis, the game, has been really a success with the players, as it is a really big departure from Conan, which they also enjoyed, and they have had now the possibility of using firearms to their heart's content and driving around in vehicles. I think one of the points that they have been really missing or griping about as younger players, that in Degenesis there are not enough vehicles to run around in, and they find it strange that things like airplanes have more or less completely disappeared from the skies of Europe. So that is the first state of play, the first description of what the campaigns are actually doing at this moment, and in the next state of play then I will detail where these games are going and maybe discuss some future plans for them and also for some other games. If you like this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and be sure to check out the next state of play coming later on and what has been the progress. Thank you.